So moist. Hey fam, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be the second video in our Thanksgiving series that shows you meals that you can eat during the holidays and not fall off track. If you're new here, welcome. My name is DeeDee. I've lost a little over 90 pounds following a low carb way of eating. On my channel, I share my weight loss journey, meal ideas to include meal preps, just to hopefully inspire you if you're on a journey like me. So if that's something you're into, go ahead, hit that subscribe button and join the family. So in today's video, we're gonna be making some Southern cornbread dressing. I love me some dressing, and I can't wait to show you exactly how I make it so you can add it to your menu. All right, let's jump right in to this dressing. I'm starting off with our base. I've got a pot of water on the stove, and we're gonna build our broth from scratch. This is gonna give that dressing that deep flavor that we're looking for. So for today's recipe, I'm using 2 chicken thighs and 3 drumsticks. And I'm seasoning this water up so that the broth has flavor. I'm adding about 1 to 2 teaspoons of some salt, onion powder, garlic powder, some paprika for some color, because you know paprika doesn't really taste like much anything, okay? I also added some thyme, some poultry seasoning, some black pepper, some sage, and some nature's seasoning. I'm gonna let that chicken boil and cook down for about an hour. That'll give us tender chicken and a rich broth that we can use in the dressing. All right, so while that's cooking, let's move on to the veggies. We're gonna chop up some celery, onion, and bell pepper. These are the flavor builders for that authentic Southern dressing. Now, since I'm only making a small batch today, I'm just using half a green bell pepper, half an onion, and 2 small stalks of celery. But if you're feeding a larger crowd, just double it. Use a whole bell pepper or a whole onions, a few more celery stalks. Just always cook based on your family size and taste. All right, we're moving on to the stove. The chicken is just boiling on the side, and we're gonna saute our veggies until they're tender. I've added 1 tablespoon of avocado oil, and I'm adding 2 tablespoons of butter into my skillet. Now, once that butter starts to melt, we are adding those veggies in. I like to season my veggies while they cook. So I'm adding about half a teaspoon of salt, poultry seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, sage, thyme, paprika, and black pepper. You can use whatever seasonings you choose, but if you'd like a list of everything that I'm using, all of my ingredients, I'm gonna make sure everything is in the description box. Okay, I'm just mixing this up really good, but we're gonna let it saute on medium-low heat for about 8 minutes. And once these veggies are cooked and they're soft, it's time to take them off the burner and let them cool down. Now it's time to check on our chicken. It's been boiling for about 45 minutes and they're looking good. I forgot to add some minced garlic earlier, so I'm adding it right now, about 1 tablespoon, and I'm mixing it right into the pot. We're gonna let this cook for about 10 to 15 more minutes so that the broth can really take on that garlic flavor. Now, while that chicken is finishing up, I'm gonna move on to the cornbread. Now, if you saw my last video where we made that low carb cornbread, then you already know how good this is. It's buttery, full of flavor, and it makes the perfect base for this dressing. Now, my cornbread is fully cooled down, and all I'm doing here is just crumbling it up before we start adding in all the other ingredients. Now, once the chicken has boiled for about an hour, all I'm doing here is poking it with a spoon just to make sure it's tender and cooked through, and it definitely is. So I'm gonna take that chicken off of the burner so it can cool down a bit before we start shredding. Chicken is cooled down, and I'm just using my hands right here to debone and shred the chicken, okay? We're removing the skin and the bones because we don't need any of that in our dressing. Now, after doing that, I'm just shredding the chicken into pieces. You just want some bite-sized pieces. They definitely don't have to be perfect. Just shred the chicken the best you can. Once it's shredded, you want to add the chicken to your large mixing bowl with your crumbled up cornbread. Next, we're going to add those sauteed veggies. They've cooled down, so we're placing that right into this bowl as well. I'm also adding about 2 tablespoons of melted butter, and we're also going to add a can of cream of chicken. Yep. Let's talk about this cream of chicken real quick. This entire can only has 9 net carbs total. So even if you decided to eat the entire batch of dressing yourself, which I will not judge you for at all, you are still looking at less than 10 net carbs for the whole pan. So that's why I call this guilt-free Thanksgiving, okay? Because compared to traditional dressing, that is a huge win. Okay, I also added 1 cup of chicken broth. That broth that we just cooked that chicken in, I grabbed a cup and placed that in there as well. We're just starting off with 1 cup at first, and we're mixing it well, and we're gonna add more later on. You wanna make sure you're stirring it gently and just making sure everything is combined. And now I'm adding another cup of broth and mixing it up until the texture feels right for me. Y'all, it's time for a taste test, okay? I want to make sure this dressing is tasting the way I want it to taste. And I decided to just add a little bit more seasoning. A little bit, okay? About half a teaspoon of some sage, onion powder, garlic powder, some more thyme, some poultry seasoning, and a little bit of paprika. We're just going to go ahead and stir that up in there. And I'm going to taste it just one more time just to make sure this dressing is the truth. Okay? When your dressing tastes good before you even bake it, you already know you're on the right path. Okay, now we're moving on to the next step. I cracked 1 egg and I'm pouring it in there. This helps everything hold together without the dressing being dense or dry. And finally, I'm adding 1 last cup of broth and we're stirring it again until I reach that perfect consistency that I'm looking for. Not too wet and not too dry. All right, our dressing is ready for the oven. Now the oven's been preheating at 350 degrees. I've already greased my baking dish with butter, and now I'm pouring that dressing mixture right into that dish. And I'm gonna smooth out the top as even as I can. It's time to pop this dish into the oven for 20 minutes, okay? We're gonna pop it in uncovered for 20 minutes first, and when that timer goes off, we are going to cover it with some aluminum foil to keep it moist and prevent the top from burning. So this is gonna go back into the oven for 25 minutes. All right, the dressing has been cooking for a total of 45 minutes so far. I'm removing that aluminum foil. It's sizzling, it's looking good, but I'm gonna place it right back into the oven uncovered for the last 10 minutes to get that golden brown top that we all love. And there it is. That's exactly what I was looking for. Golden, crispy, and just smelling like Thanksgiving all up through this house. I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes so it can set before I start cutting it up. But this dressing is looking so good. All right, it's time for us to place some of this dressing on a plate so that we can taste it. Oh, look at that. It's still hot, it's moist. You can see the chunks of chicken and the veggies and how soft it is inside. So there is our plate of our Southern cornbread dressing. Y'all, it's time for us to taste this dressing. Here it is right here. Still kind of hot. Y'all, this dressing is good, okay? Who's gonna tell them it's not the real cornbread? Who's gonna know? Who's gonna know? All we used was some almond flour, 1 net carb and almond flour. If you want some gravy, you know what? You can actually stir in a little bit of almond flour into that chicken stock that we made and then season it to taste. There's your gravy right there, okay? Y'all, I need to stop. I need to stop eating this and close out the video. Mm, 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 mm. So moist, full of flavor. This is some good dressing right here. Chicken is so good. Mm. All right, I put the plate down. All right, fam, stay tuned for the next video that'll be dropping for our Thanksgiving series next week. You don't want to miss it. Another delicious dish that you can add to your menu. If you like this video, go ahead and drop a heart and show some love. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.